What's up, guys? Tanner Sports Central, and we're going over a college football game preview over the 2019 Bahamas Bowl between Buffalo and Charlotte. This is going to be our first bowl game that we're going to be previewing here this bowl season. And we're going to go over every bowl game here coming up this bowl season, so I'm looking forward to it. Hope you guys are too. Here's our previous game for both of these teams. Buffalo beat Bowling Green 49-7, blowout there. Charlotte beat Old Dominion 38-22. And a few key stats from that game. For Charlotte, they had LeMay, running back, 18 attempts, 108 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Meanwhile, for Buffalo, Patterson had 26 attempts, 298 yards, 6 touchdowns. They've got a great running back in Patterson. I mean, for him to put up 300 yards in a single game, 6 touchdowns, and that is an obvious sign that Patterson is something special. And he's been great all season long. I think they've got an average of like 250 yards a game. Rushing wise, and we'll go over that in a couple of minutes. Of course, Patterson's going to be something that Charlotte's going to have to deal with here in this bowl game. This game's going to be on Saturday, December 20th, 2 p.m. Eastern Time. Buffalo currently leads the opening spread 6.5 points, and the FPI is saying Buffalo 63%. Vegas is saying something a little bit different, saying 34-31, Charlotte winning this game. I mean, both of these teams are pretty evenly matched. There are certainly there's not really that many big differences between both of these teams. It should make for a great matchup. Here's our stat comparison for this one. Points per game, Buffalo has 31.5. Points allowed per game, 22. Pass yards per game, 143. There's your rush yards stat, 254 rush yards a game. That is excellent. So you can tell for sure that they rely on the running back core much more than the passing game. Yards allowed per game, 293. The record is 7-5. For Charlotte, points per game, 31, so kind of right around the same range as Buffalo. 32 points allowed per game, so that's much more than Buffalo. Pass yards, 212, rush yards, 210. And lastly, yards allowed per game, 389, so that is significantly higher. And then Buffalo, it looks like Buffalo has a much better defense than Charlotte does. Here's our previous 5 games for both of these teams. And kind of looking at this, you can see what trend both of these teams are on, whether they're on a winning trend and kind of getting hot, or whether they're kind of cold at the time after a few losses. And it looks like both of these teams, to me, have had a great past 5 games. We've only got one loss in here, and that is Buffalo's against Kent State on the road. But then again, Kent State had a pretty good season, so in the end, Buffalo is still looking pretty good in the past few weeks. Buffalo's, though, in full depth. You got Bowling Green, of course, last week, 49-7. Toledo, they beat them 49-30. Lost to Kent State 27-30. Eastern Michigan had a blowout there, 43-14, and then also blew out Central Michigan. That was a pretty good win there, 43-20. As far as it goes for Charlotte, they beat Old Dominion 38-22 as they should have. Marshall they beat 24-13. Had a close one to UTEP, and that's a little questionable there. You should beat UTEP by a lot more than that. 28-21 was the score there. Beat Middle Tennessee 34-20, and also beat North Texas by 1. Edged that one 39-38. Here's a few key points coming into this game. Both teams have great Novembers overall. I mean, really, of course, Buffalo had that one loss, I believe, just in the middle of November. But yeah, Charlotte, for the most part, they've run their last 5 or 6, and most of their losses came in the beginning of the season. So Charlotte is certainly looking good. And they've had a lot of close games on the way, and so you got to kind of remember that. But yeah, of course, both teams are looking pretty good coming into this bowl game. Buffalo, once again, has a great running back core, and Charlotte's going to have to worry about that for sure. You're going to have a great rushing defense in order to win this game. Charlotte will need to make stops in this game for sure. Charlotte's offense is going to have to perform really well first off. Of course, Buffalo has a better defense than them. Charlotte's going to need to make stops of their own because Buffalo's running back, in Patterson, he's going to be running all over this defense if Charlotte doesn't stop him, so you got to be worried about that. How would Buffalo win this one? If they can get out early, I think, and shut Charlotte down. Same thing for Charlotte. If they can get out early and beat Buffalo, but Charlotte's defense is going to really need to step up here in this game if they're going to have any chance of winning that. That's what I certainly think about this one. With all that being said, here's my prediction for this game. I think at halftime it's going to be a 14-14 tie, and your final score 31-28. Buffalo gets the win here, and they end their season off going 8-5. Meanwhile, Charlotte will drop to 7-6. I think this one is going to be really close, and I'm really looking forward to this one actually, because kind of looking over and doing the research for this preview, both of these teams I really haven't watched these teams much this entire season. I mean, considering they're from the MAC and the Conference USA. But yeah, overall, I mean, it's going to be a pretty competitive game. I think both teams are very evenly matched. 31-28 is going to be your final score. Buffalo wins this one. Let me know your guys' thoughts on this game in the comments below. Let me know who you think is going to win here. And also, let me know your guys' thoughts on both of these teams' seasons. What do you guys think of that as well? But yeah, thank you guys all for watching once again. Stay tuned for some bowl previews coming up soon. We're going to be doing full-out bowl previews over the next couple weeks. That's primarily what's going to be going on this channel, so there's probably going to be no NFL previews coming up in the next couple weeks, just so you know. But yeah, thank you guys all for watching once again. Stay tuned for more content, and I'll see y'all later.